Hello, everybody. How are you? Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm still trying to find where to put the light. I hope everyone is fine. Today, I guess my soul is coming back to the body. So I'm still trying to adapt to find the places where to put the things and trying to adapt to the energy that is around. So today we'll work with the center of the throat chakra, which is education. Just by start, I told you, all of you, in August last year that someday you will see me just going through some process, and it took 6 months, but but you got it. So yes. So just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I've been reading all the messages that you have left me in the social media and wrote and everything. So really thank you for everything, because of course that beyond this image that I am here kind of teaching in this relationship master apprentice, this is not really like this. We are each one of us doing our part in this. And that's why we all have processes to go, and my part is to be here explaining. But as I saw the messages and everything, we are not this master with apprentice. We are this kind of family, each one doing what it's meant for us to do. So thank you everybody for being in and for sharing and for sending all these good vibes. So about yesterday, yesterday I was living through many changes, many things that that I didn't expect to have in just a few hours, because as you know, I'd been 6 months in the same place, and the last kind of last half month I've been in my room, not seeing anybody, mostly alone, and after 6 months being in the same place, I took an airplane. I went to a boat. They changed the boat where I was supposed to be, um, and there was all these chaotic situations. And suddenly, in the middle, I've been speaking with someone that made me see many of the things that I wasn't able to work within myself. That brought me this thing I didn't work on myself for a few months. So it came up just 5 minutes before we before I started the alignment. So I couldn't help it. I couldn't stop it. So just a reminder, because I don't know if it was able to be understood because I was crying. um, just to make a summary of this, to make the point of what I wanted to say, is that beyond the concepts of ideas in politics, the parties that we belong to, the beliefs that we have in the politicians, or the different kind of movements of politics that we follow, the most important thing, the most important understanding, is that when we see it from the point of view of the consciousness, all that is history. All that is just history for us. So that's why I wrote it as history. And as we go deeper into the past, we can see how politics that we have today is born in the concept of government that really means to sail the boat. So basically, concept politics is to learn how to roll yourself, how to sail your own self. So from now on, the work that we have for the future is to start trying to rule ourselves by sailing our own boat. This is the concept of the most essential politics from the I am. So what I said yesterday, to that politics, the concept is how we do politics in our lives, because everything that we do when we relate with other people is politics all the time. So we are politicians in our life. We are constantly doing politics when we speak, when we relate to each other, and also when we try to put our control and power over the thinkings of other people. When we try to tell them what to believe, what to do, what is the good thing, what is the bad thing. That's politics. What I was trying to say yesterday is that before we start to blame the politicians in the system, we may have to start by watching our own politics. How do we apply politics in our own life? Because politicians are just humans and they commit the same mistake as every day of our lives. The only thing is that the politicians are in charge of so many people that you can tell, you can notice those mistakes that we normally do with a few people, but they do much bigger. So that's why in concepts, in terms of politics, we should not blame the persons. We start to prepare the persons inside from the inner point of view. Talking about politics, we will get into education, because education is one of the things that creates politics. Basically, both of them, politics and education, are born in the same moment, talking about our civilization, which is the basis of our civilization, was born in Greece. And why is this? Because education was what is politically correct. And for the moment of the birth of politics, it was about free thinkers, how to think properly in your free will. So education, something that was born to teach us how to think freely, and this is why is one of the things that we couldn't experiment so much throughout the history. So the reason why education is not well received in the world is because education is based on the question, to reach the knowledge through the doubt. That is the key of education. But in a world that is ruled by hierarchies, education is something really bad for those who want to hold the divine system. Remember that hierarchy comes from the concept power of the divine, hieros arche. So let's understand how we relate religion and politics with education. Remember that in the religion, the main shamans and then the priests and priestesses were the ones downloading the information from the heavens to the earth. So they were the ones deciding who was the ruler of the village, of the civilization, of the empire, the kingdom. So they were the ones choosing by the will of God who is the next king, who is the next queen. So that's why they call to this system the power of the divine, because it was God, the divine, that brought this idea, that brought this power to these people. So this is why religion started to be like the way in which the kings and queens were chosen, and that's why the structure was called divine hierarchy. Hmm? So what happened with the hierarchy? That whatever is holy in the heavens, you cannot judge, you cannot doubt about it. It's faith. So it ensures the consequence of the system. The divinity allows this to keep going. But what happened with education? Education teach you about doubt, about question the things so you can grow and understand the world. So it's complete opposite to a hierarchy. So that's why education was not the best system for those who were following the hierarchy. Hmm? We used to say that hierarchy is a system that is a pyramidal system that is controlling us. But hierarchy is only related to a system that comes straight from the idea of the power of God. Yes, that is only the way in which we can call hierarchy. Hmm? And that's how education was not well seen in that period, because education would be a menace to the system, to the civilization, to the structure. So education is exactly the opposite to what a hierarchy is, because a hierarchy, considered in politics and religion, comes from the power of the outside coming below, so to us. Hmm? From the sky to us on earth, from the outside to within. But the education itself is speaking about how our inner power can go out to the world. So it's exactly the opposite to what really a hierarchy is. And this is why they saw education as a civilization. What happened later is that the civilization started to organize the path of understanding with different tests. So these tests were questions. So the people that taught the younger ones, they wouldn't answers to the questions, and they have to choose what are the answers. What they did, or to teach them the answers and then make an exam to see if they got it. No, it was different. The system was, we have these questions and we need to see how you will solve it. So this is why um, they start to find they started to find the options to problems. So the education was was to try to solve questions, not to learn the answers. So I will just explain something. Parenthesis, I don't know how to say in English. I will always speak about the systems related to Greece and Rome. And why is that? Because we are in a globalized world, and the cultures that make the globalization came from the Mediterranean Sea: Egypt, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, Greece, Rome, Italy, France, Spain. So those countries are the one that molded the whole um, philosophy of the world. So that's why we go straight always to the Mediterranean Sea. Of course, there are many other ways, like in China, like in Central America. There are many different ways, but here we are speaking about the global idea of everything. So that's why I go always to the Mediterranean. Because of this, we go again to Greece, to the islands of Greece. And what happened in Greece? That in the same moment where all these politics were started to come in the islands and so on, the education, the education started to be uh, different, because the priests and priestesses started to question themselves: what if the gods are not real? What if everything that we are believing in is just a perception? What if it is different? So they started to doubt, and they started to think about different options. So they started to love to question the reality and to look for wisdom. Love for wisdom in Greece is philosophia. Philo, to love, and sophia, wisdom. So philosophy means the lovers of wisdom. These philosophers used to do this, to open these spaces in public, to talk about the wisdom, to question the things. And they took benefit of it. They took benefit of the situation of the police. All the people were working all the day. They were doing politics. What is politics for Greek people? For Greek people, politics was to do the normal works for every day for the city. Remember, city means polis. Polis is the name for city in Greek. So the politics, the politicians were the people that were working in the cities, in the states of the city. So they were working all day, and then they had this moment of diversion where they just relaxed and do whatever. Choose like an open place to do that, to relax, to speak, to share, to laugh. Okay, this open garden. So leisure, you say in English, the relaxation, the moment of relax after the politics. In Greek, you call skole. Skole means, for us, is school, is the origin of the word school, but means to relax, leisure, to have fun. That's it. And the place, the garden where you are supposed to do this, it was the aula, the classroom. Okay. Okay, so that they call aula. So all the people that wanted to share, to think, to talk about whatever, the philosophers would go there and ask them why the sky is blue, and they would laugh and talk about and try to find some answers to relax the mind. It's really weird that when we realize that for the past, to get fun was to go to a open place to think and to imagine possible answers to the things. But the reason for this is because the environment was totally different from us. Like, for example, in that moment, the work, the politics was all about strength. It was all about hard work with the body. And then they could relax. All they were trying to do was to think, to imagine, to share the ideas. That was the way in which they could relax. But in our civilizations today, it's all about thinking, all about the mind, all about what can you do with your mind. So that's why we stop working with the mind. The last thing we want to do is to think. We just want to do physical things. That's the opposite. Here comes this moment when the priest and priestess, the priest back with the idea of the divine deciding the purpose of the earth, of the civilizations. So Rome and Greece fell into the power of the divine again, and that's what made the free thinkers, the ones that were building the knowledge through the doubts, they were forbidden, okay, because that would be against their own power. So it would take like many centuries until in the Renaissance everyone starts to speak about education again. After many centuries, the concept of education will come back in the Renaissance. So Renaissance is to go back to be born, okay? So it's a rebirthing of the culture. So the Renaissance in the 16th century comes back as trying to put all the concepts of Greece again in Europe. So they bring the doubt again as a way of learning. So Descartes in France, it creates the method, the scientific method about testing and experimenting. Then in the 17th century, the enlightened ones, the Illuminati, they try to design a concept of education which is like laicism, to make people free thinkers again. But all of that they start to do from the 16th century and 17th century is related to a concept of schooling that was called college. The college is something that in Greece was called for an obligated education of those who were chosen to do certain tasks. So the college was mostly military, and they were preparing people to do something through curriculum. So the church took this concept of college and created the ecclesiastic college. And the free thinkers took the idea of college and put inside of it education for the free thinkers. The Illuminati were the ones that were teaching the people without the light. That's what they used to say. So the ignorant people, they needed the light. So this light of the Illuminati had to go into those without the light, which are the students, which it's alumno. So these people were the ones that we had that in that moment they needed to put light on them. So this concept was brought again, but not as education, but as a college. So they had this curriculum to put the knowledge in the head of the people, to put the information inside the head of the people. What these enlightened or illuminated people did was to do exact opposite of what was happening through many centuries. So instead of doing a hierarchy, because it was holy from God, they took that and created a republic. So through the Republic, they said, now we will have a free education, which is obligatory, and everyone that is ignorant must learn about everything that all the scientists can learn. So everyone has all the knowledge inside the head. Okay, so that's it. So it was perfect at that moment, this system, because what they were trying to do was to set ourselves away from the obscurantism, the dark times of um, of the Middle Ages. So in the religion, so they were trying to create something different. So it was really good. So basically, what happened is that this will design a system in which everyone in the population got to get the information that that the scientists were understanding, but they didn't do it through education. They did it through teaching. So teaching would be teaching would be to say what is the truth. This is the truth, and I have to show you the truth. That is teaching. So in education, it's exactly the opposite. So just a few of them, the scientists and elite, was able to study through education to make the experiments to look for the truth. Those people, were the ones learning everything, and then they put that in books that the rest of the population must learn because they were the ignorance. Su intención, ¿cuál era? Hacer que la sociedad se ilumine a la fuerza, pero nadie aprende a la fuerza. Their goal, what was to make all the population to learn by force, but nobody learns being pushed to it. Education comes from within, not from outside. What we really have today in education is not education. It's a system that was used in the high society, the elite in the 17th century, that was adapted in the republics in the 18th and 19th century. So we are in the 21st century with the politics, a religion, and an education that are based in the 16th century. And we have a society, and we have an economy, a culture, and a technology that are already in the 21st century. We should say that we have three systems from 500 years ago that are ruling, three systems that are working today. And those three systems, education in the throat chakra, politics in the third eye, and religion in the crown chakra, are the ones, the three systems that are related to the spiritual connection of ourself. How can we change education if education is the truth? The only way you can change education is when you know how to handle your own boat, how to move through the ocean of yourself. And the way you can do it is if you have your north, if you know what is your north, which is spirituality. So until you don't connect with your higher self, with your inner self, you cannot know where you go. You cannot relate yourself to the power of yourself on earth. And until you don't do it, you won't be able to take out your truth, what you really are. So it's not this can't start by education. This can't start by a change in education. This must start by a change in the connection that we have with our own self. Until we are not able to do that, we are going to have teachings. Today, our education is related to the system of the 17th and 18th century in the Revolution, where people started to be evaluated with numbers as a product from 1 to 10. So this is why education is not about changing the ways. It's not about changing the curriculum. It's about to ask the right questions. It's about to share ideas, to be creative. That's education. As a task for this is just to try to learn something new every day. Just as silly as possible, doesn't matter. But I'm trying to do this every day, just to ask something and look it in the internet, ask to someone, try to imagine the options and then look if they work or not. Just try to act the questions and try to look for answers within and the outside. And that will activate the education within. But it's not only about to think in new things. It's about to do new things. And I am saying also to question even what I am saying, for example. What I am saying, you have to question everything, but no, I am not saying the question to question. No, you are saying it wrong. No, that's not question something. To question something is to say, I don't know if this is true. I will look into it. I will look for it. I will learn something new. We cannot push the new kids to try to learn things in school when most of the things that they are teaching in the school are just nonsense for the being. Everything that is being taught in the schools is amazing, but only when the question comes. Today, schools are not educating. Today, it is a college that teach. And the only way in which we can heal education is by beginning to do ourselves all the questions. And just something for the practice in the future. The way in which we will start to heal education is not to teach better things to the kids for 25 years to see if then they can solve the problems of humanity. The education is about solving problems. The humans comes to this life to solve problems. Our brain is designed to solve problems. So we need real problems to be solved. And if we put those real problems that we have in the school, we can help this new humanity to awaken their potential to find options, solutions, and not losing the time. The vibration for today is the statement for today is I am the essence of the truth. The code for today is phosphorus, the carrier of light, as it translates from Greek, is a tetrahedron that works as a base for all life, for being a mineral of great abundance, and the second one in the living organisms, is absorbed by plants from the earth's crust and transmitted this way to the animal kingdom. Both have it as the fundamental basis of DNA and RNA, and thus this enlightened being is the key of our existence. Just makes me laugh is that all these issues that we are speaking about, I could never do it right exam in the school. Like my teachers would say, like, "What are you doing?" Because I was never able to explain things, and now here I am talking about them in front of 4,000 people. So it's funny. So of course, I am an example that you learn when you do the question, because I've learned all this way after I left school. I don't remember learning this in school. Let's go to the alignment. A soft massage from my feet to my head, being aware of all my body and the vibration that inhabits in it. And I begin to focus in my breathing. As I breathe, I recognize that my spirit and my soul had chosen my body to live within it, for it is the only way for them to experience and to learn about life. My body is the best place for education. As I take a deep breath, I recognize that it's the spirit willing to express through the body to life, recognizing that this is the real process of education, the action of taking what is inside towards the outside. Within me, I can find all the answers. The only way to let them out is to find the right questions. The question is the key that awakens the spirit, the answer that lives within me. By the law of polarity, of cause and effect, of vibration and correspondence. My questions are reflected in the world outside, showing me the reflections of the answer within. So as I pay attention to the environment, I can see the answers within. Take a deep breath and go within to look for the spirit inside this classroom that is your body. Picture your body as a big classroom, and inside of it you can see your classmates and your teachers, and you put faces of the people you know in your life. Realize who are those that accompany me with the questions, and who are those that accompany me towards the answers. I recognize that all the answers are within me, and that these people around are those to find them. I honor my master. I honor my classmates. As I sing, I unite all of them within me as the truth that awakens my essence. I am the essence of truth. I am the essence of truth. I am the essence of truth, of the truth. I educate my spirit. I am the answer. Take a deep breath and start to caress your body, stretching, bringing all this to every part of it. And come back here and now, yawning. Thank you, everybody, for being there as always. And see you tomorrow at the same time.